Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to, can you believe it, another book chat. We are officially at the end of April. Like today is April 30th, so we're at the end of April, and I have a big book wrap up for you guys. I made it through 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 books. Now, I am going to tell you which ones I did on audio versus which ones I read, and if there are any that I did tandem-wise, that way you can kind of get a feel for the book themselves. So, let's get started with the first one. It's called Voice of Fear. It's by Heather Graham, and it's a Creewee of Hunters novel. I don't know what Creewee. I really try to be serious. Creewee, or I don't know, of Hunter's novel. I'll show you the word. That's the word I'm trying to say. Anyway, this was actually one of my Dollar Tree finds, and I'm here for it. I would actually read, like, if I could get these books. I don't know what this one, I'm trying to see if I can find where, like, the regular price of it is. I don't see it anywhere on the book. But if I can get this book for, like, other books in this series for, like, under $10, $8, $7, I would read more. This was not the first book in the series, but I was able to read it. Of course, there are some things that they talk about that happened in previous books, but it doesn't stop you from being able to enjoy this one. And like I said, I got it from the Dollar Tree. So basically this book is about a group, we'll call them like kind of like FBI special agent. So this is more of a crime thriller. So if you like think CSI, think Law and Order series, those types of TV shows, you would like this book because that's the kind of thriller this is. This one, it's hard for me to remember because I read this like at the beginning of the month, but language wise, I'm flipping pages right now. I do not think there was a lot of bad language. So if you're a person that doesn't like language, from my memory, this one is not screaming to be one that had a lot of bad language. There is, think CSI level. So if you watch like CSI, and I'm going to talk about like the original Vega series because that's my favorite of the entire brand. But if you think that level, if you enjoy watching that, you'll enjoy reading this. I don't think it was, because some of those episodes can be a little graphic when it comes to like the gore and people getting taken out. There was there was mention of like physical and essay, but from my memory, they didn't dwell on it where it was just overly graphic. So I think this would be, if you're kind of low stakes, I think this one would be okay from my memory. Like there's nothing that really jumps out. Like I say, I would compare this to like CSI. So if you can CSI, you can do this one. So basically this is this group of detectives have like super powers kind of. So some people can like hear other people's thoughts. Many of them can see the dead. So they have all of these superpowers that help them, solve crimes. And basically in this one, they are out to stop like someone who was doing human trafficking. And they're also looking for someone who was kidnapped. So that's what this one is about. And this group of people help so Jordan Wallace is like the main FBI. So they do actually call them FBI agents, but they're like a special branch FBI agent that's helping, and she's working with this like criminal psychologist, Patrick Law, who's like a mind reader. And like I said, they all have like this power where they can like see the dead. So that's what this one is about, and they're trying to catch this criminal. There is a little, good time, a little fun time in here, but it's not super graphic. So it's like really kind of, low level. So, but I really did enjoy this one. It was an easy read. If, like I said, I would pay, if this book is, if I went to Barnes and Nobles, and I wonder if it's under this sticker. If I went to like the bookstore and this was like $10 or less, I would definitely, so it is marked as a $9.99 book. I would pick up more books in this series. Well, I guess the sticker's off now. I would pick up more books in this series because I thought it was cute and it was such an easy read. Even though the words are kind of small on the page, the pages themselves are small, and this one was like 300 pages. Frida. So I read another Frida McFadden novel. This one's called Never Lie. So I'm gonna say I did not like the way this one ended, and it's okay. But it was a very, I didn't see the twist coming. And I will say Frida McFadden does twist well. But I didn't like how this one twisted and ended. That made me mad. But basically, this one is about this newlywed couple that is looking for like their house of their dreams, and they end up at the house that belonged to a now missing psychiatrist, Adrian Hale. And then you kind of see the story unraveling and figure out why we're saying Never Lie and how we got to the moment where we get there. This is, if you're a Frida McFadden fan, it's low stakes as far as there's not like a lot of language or any language really, maybe like low level words, you know, like hail and stuff like that. But outside of that, I think that's really all you get. It wasn't bad, but I just didn't like the way it ended. But then I was like, yeah, I feel like this could have a part 2, how they left off of the cliffhanger, because I wouldn't trust her. But I did like this one. It was an easy read, just like all the Frida McFadden books, are. The next one is a Dollar Tree read as well. It's called Unstable by Alexandra Ivy. I actually listened to this one on audiobook. This book was same thing, low stakes. I would kind of like say this is like a CSI level book. Well, no, I won't call this one low stakes. Let me take that back. This is CSI, but CSI on one of its more gory type of episodes, because there is in this one's descriptions that can be a bit much when it comes to the attacks that are described in this book by the killer, and the things that he did to the victim. So in that sense, I would say that this one is a little more gory if you compare it to one of the CSI level gore. So, because I feel like some CSI episodes are like lighter and some are more like, gory. So it's one of the more gorier episodes. However, this one is about a small town where a body of somebody is found in a cemetery. The thing is, the body of the person that's found is supposed to be the body of someone who's already dead. So basically, they are trying to figure out how is it that this person is now in the cemetery and dead when they were supposed to have died decades ago. And then these videotapes start showing up, women start going missing, and then they find out that they had the serial killer on the loose, and they're just trying to figure out how the dots are connected. I like this one. This is a book that if I had read it, I would have enjoyed reading this one. So I think this is a good listen. This is a good read, and it's actually worth paying for the book, in my opinion. Like I said, I got this one from Dollar Tree, and I did really enjoy that one. Now this one, I did this one on audiobook too. It's The Man in the Microwave Oven. It is a mystery. It's by Susan Cox, and I did this one on audiobook, and I'm glad. This is a mystery for a true mystery person. And I say that because sometimes mysteries can be boring. Like, I say I like mysteries, but I need my mysteries to actually be like more thrilling and more exciting. This one was more of, you actually have to be like a mystery buff, because when it got to the end talking about who did the crime, I was like, at what point did y'all throw that clue out that I was supposed to figure this out? I do feel like this one was dry in pieces. Like, as I was listening to it, I was like, good call. Because I think if I was to read this, it was going to take me a long time. But there were moments of the book that made me go, oh, wow. So there are parts of it that's interesting, but I feel like if you're not 100% a mystery person, it could get a little hard to read. This one is about, what's her name? Her name is Theo. And she's basically living undercover in like San Francisco because like her family, she has some secrets she's trying to escape from. So, of course, she doesn't want people to know who she is. So, someone that she is close to is actually found murdered. And she believes, like, that the person, she's afraid that her secret is going to get out. So, she's basically trying to find out who did this killing and then also other killings that happened throughout the book. Like I said, it was okay. It's just, I feel like this is a book for true mystery lovers. Oops. I hurt my wrist, y'all. I took my brace off. I should have had it on because, yeah. The Sunday Girl by Pip Drysdale. Another Dollar Tree find. I can't remember. I think I listened. Yes, I listened to this one in full. This book, okay, this one was good. I'm trying to think level of, Man in the Microwave, that one's easy. I think there is some language in there, but nothing too harsh in the other one. This one can get a little raunchy. This one gets a little raunchy, a little dirty. It's basically about a woman named, I almost said a woman named Pip. That's not her name. It's about a woman named Taylor whose boyfriend basically cheats on her. And her goal, he cheats on her, he breaks up with her, and her goal is to try to, get back at him. But Yes, I wanted to make sure I wasn't mixing this book up. He does something to her. So he does something to her after she breaks up with him for cheating on her. Some revenge, add next word here. And he is also abusive. So she is basically trying to get back at him for doing what he did to her. And it takes a turn, which I did see that twist coming. It takes a turn and it's her trying to get out of that situation. So I enjoyed this one. I listened to it. I'm kind of trying to decide if I would have. I think it would have been an okay read. I think I enjoyed it more listening to it because there were some parts of the book where I'm just like, okay, too much. Can we go to the next thing? But ultimately, I think it was worth the $125. I don't think it would be like a book that I'm trying to go and spend $26.99 on. So I think if you can find it in the Dollar Tree, it's a good read, but this one does get a little kind of raunchy and a little just too much in the description area. This next one, Someone in the Attic by Andre Amara. So this one, really good. I read this one in full, I think. If I listened to any part of it, it was like maybe like a chapter or two because I was doing something. I absolutely love this. I will say, this one, if you're a person who doesn't like scary, this would be a good introductory scary because this one is scary and then turns a little Scooby-Doo-ish at one point and then it wraps up. So I do feel like this is kind of a low stakes thrill. You do feel the hairs on your arm stand up. Because I was reading this and at one point, like I was in my room at night and I felt the hairs on my arm stand up. But overall, it's more of that suspense that gets you versus like true horror or anything like that. And like I said, doing one part of the book, it turns to Scooby-Doo. Like, and I'm just like, what? Now there is a scene or a mention of something that can be triggering. I don't want to give it away because saying it kind of gives away the story, but I will say it's more alluded to. It's talked about, but not described. So it's like, the thing happened, but it's not given in detail to where it's very hard to get through, if that makes sense. And then you find something out later and then you just like, and then it turns Scooby-Doo. So like I said, I think this is a really good one. If you want a little, ooh, I'm scared, but you don't want something too hard, this is a good one. The biggest thing in this book, I would say, is language. I think there's a lot of language in this one, if I'm remembering correctly. I tried to like remember things. I might need to write this down because I know that's helpful to some people. But I did like this one. I enjoyed it. And like I said, it gave me that hair raising feel that I wanted. And then it kind of made me chuckle because I'm like, really? Now, this one, A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCrae. I listened to this one on audiobook, but I would have read this and I would have eaten this up. So, this book is about, let me see how much they tell you on the book jacket because I don't give nothing away. Okay, so they don't actually talk about it because let me tell you, I was listening to this book and then they dropped that little gem and I was like, oh my goodness. So this book is basically about a woman she's married and she's a lawyer. She gets a phone call from a friend of hers from their past that she went to school with that basically says, I need a lawyer. My wife has been, like, they arrested me and my wife has been killed, right? So they arrested him. He wasn't arrested for that specifically, but that's kind of, they arrested him for assaulting an officer, but they're basically trying to hold him because they're like, wait a second, we think he like did this to his wife. And as she defends him, which she did not want to defend him in the beginning, as she defends him, some things start to become revealed to you. And when I tell you, I was baking a cake and the shoe dropped and I was just like, oh, that was the second shoe drop. So not the first shoe drop, but the second one. This is a really good book. This one does talk about a little get down good time, but from my memory, it is not descriptive. The biggest thing in this one, I think, was language. I think that is the biggest thing with this one is language, but this was a good thrill. Like, I enjoyed reading this one. The one other thing is situations involving teenage children. Once again, if it's not super descriptive, but that does take place in a part of the book. So keep that in mind. The next one is The Hive. This is by Scarlett Braid. This is a book that I read. This is also a Black author. So if you are trying to find Black thriller authors, she is Caribbean and Canadian, I believe. I know she's Caribbean. I actually didn't know that until literally I had read the book. And I think I was trying to I don't know why I was actually Googling the book at all. But I ended up finding out that she was a Black author. So I thought that was cool because I don't typically find a lot of Black thriller authors that... So if you've watched my videos for a while, I talked about the book called When No One's Watching by Alyssa Cole, which I liked, but that book had Get Out vibes. And if you've ever seen Get Out or that book, it's the reason that the Black main character is under attack is because of their Blackness, like police brutality or things surrounding gentrification and just racist acts where it makes them the target. So Get Out vibes. Because that hits a little too close to home, there's not that many Black thriller authors where the reason you're under attack is your Blackness. I don't want to read that. I don't. But this one, after I found that out and I thought about the descriptions within the book, I also think that the main character is Black, but the thrill is not related to Get Out vibes, if that makes sense. So. But that book is actually good. It wraps up cute. I love my elderly people and they're funny. So that's When No One's Watching by Alyssa Cole. But anyway, back to this one. This one is called The Hive. Now, this book had me sitting here girl, you literally knew that man for 3 months before you got to the point where I understand why you were traumatized. But the fact that you had all that energy for 3 months, this book literally starts out, let me see if it actually says this. Oh yeah, both of her parents are actually Caribbean. I don't know where I get. Oh, she spends her summers in Canada, but she lives in England. So her parents are migrated from the Caribbean to England. And yeah, okay. But anyway, so I'll read the back of the book because this is how it goes. I want you to listen carefully to every word I say. Then I want you to decide whether Lincoln Jackson should live or die. That's how it starts. So basically, Charlotte is live streaming. She's live streaming and she's basically telling the story that got her to the point where she's letting the world decide whether she should take out her ex. Yes. But like I said, they were together for 3 months. I'm like, baby girl, there was some inner work that you needed to be done because the obsession, like, I don't even know how you into this person. It was only 3 months. But anyway, so now, there is something, I would say this one does have more triggers. This one is very detailed in the thing that is triggering that happens. I don't want to tell it because then it kind of gives away, I don't want to say it because it will give away like the entire story and I don't know how to put it in words. But so I would encourage you to look that one up for yourself because there's no trigger warning actually written into the book. And like I said, I can't figure out a way to communicate the thing without kind of telling you exactly what happens during the book. And the thing that happens is kind of like the turning point. But I will say the description of the thing that happens is very graphic. There is abuse in this book. There's a lot of language and a lot of drug use. So this one is a little more hardcore, I would say, but it is a very good read. It is a very good thrill. And the ending is insane. Like, it gets insane and then it gets insane again. So it's actually very good. This one Perfect Couple, is by Ruth Ware. I have read several books by Ruth Ware. This one was not my favorite. I will say my favorite by her is The It Girl. And I think that was like the first Ruth Ware book I read. This one, I believe, came out last year, but it was okay. And then The Women in Cabin 10, I read that one. And the other one is One by One. And I read that one. However, this one was my least favorite. This one just came out last year. Last year. This one is basically about a couple. One person in the couple is an actor, and his agent tells him about the show, this new reality show, and he convinces, this came out last year. He convinces his girlfriend to go on the show. Now, his girlfriend is a scientist. She's like, this is not my thing, but I'm going to do this for him so he can get, kind of that boost into fame and I can be supportive of him or whatever. So she decides to go on this show. Well, what happens is on the way there, they get to the island, and the very first day, there's like this big storm. And after that, everything goes downhill. So they're basically trying to survive, and there's somebody on the island who is definitely making sure that people don't survive. My issue with this book is, one, I don't know, you find out later why certain people were selected. However, I'm still kind of like, well, did they expect the person to act like this? Because they didn't know that the storm was happening. So it's not like they set it up so that the storm would happen, because that wasn't the goal. But I don't know. It just didn't come together for me. There's a lot of language in this one. I think I read maybe like 60% and ended up listening to 40% of it. The audio made them sound so, the narrator, and I think there was more than one, but it made all of the characters sound way older than they were. And that kind of also turned me off. But even when I was reading it just wasn't that great of a read. It wasn't my favorite. So, I mean, yeah. And the language, it was almost too much. It was just too much. This one, The Last One at the Wedding by Jason Rukulak. I read this one. This one was okay. It was okay. I think the reason I think it was okay, because oh my god, this man's, he seemed too, I don't know. He was kind of like too dorky, and it was like, sir, you're just doing too much, or like, I don't know. I don't know if it's his fault or his sister. So basically, this man is estranged from his daughter. And like they hadn't talked in like 3 years, and then she called and she's like, "Hey dad, I'm getting married, I want you there." So he's all excited, and then he's trying to apologize for the past. His sister is going to the wedding, and his sister fosters foster kids, right? The sister brings the foster kid along, which annoys the guy because he's like, "Okay, I'm getting connected with my daughter. Why are you bringing this girl along?" The aunt, or the sister, his sister, the girl's aunt, almost, I think it irritated me, and I don't know if this was supposed to be like her as a character, but he's literally trying to say, you know, bringing this child, like this child doesn't need to act like this. We're meeting these people for the first time. And she always tried to make him seem like he was out of pocket for wanting the day to go well. Basically, a whole lot of stuff is revealed, and things are not what they seem. The daughter is also marrying someone very rich. Things are revealed, and they're trying to figure out who's taking people out while they're at this wedding. It was an okay book. I think I just got so annoyed with the characters, and if you don't know, I read reviews after I read the book. People did mention that. I just got so annoyed. It's an easy read, and I don't think the book was horrible, but I think the annoyance level that I had with some of the characters made it not that great. There's a little bit of a twist. There you go. The House That Horror book built by Christina Henry. This is going to be, there is a kind of a very graphic unaliving in this book. So trigger warning, self-inflicted unaliving. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without messing up this video. But yes, does take place in the book. So keep that in mind. This one, I will say this is the horror book for people who can't stand horror, because there's nothing horrific about this book. When I listened to this one fully on audiobook, I had a lot of traveling. So I was like, let me put this in. And there's a haunted house, but it gives more Bates Hotel situation. Yeah, it like if you can't do horror, you can read this book. There is no language in here. The actual main character actually scolds her son for using a bad word, and then she's like, "Oh, but he doesn't know that I used a bad word earlier." So there's literally like not a lot of language, if any, really. I only remember those two instances because I thought it was funny that she brought it up at that time when she was scolding her son. So the language is easy in this one. It is not gruesome, and it is not horrific at all. So if you want to do a horror book and you're like, I can't, just listen to it on audiobook. Don't spend your money on it. The Blade Between by Sam J. Miller. I am still confused as to what this book was about. So this book is about a man who moves away from his hometown that is now being gentrified. And they go back to stop the gentrification. But the way that they are going about doing this is getting connected to like ghosts who are whales. Like, y'all, I was confused. This book had way too much description around sexual acts that was so unnecessary. Like, I'm not a person, I do not like to read smut. Let me say this. And it's not, I don't know, there's something about written, get down and dirty scenes that make me cringe, because I feel like it's always written in a cringy way, so I don't like to read it. But if it's there and it's placed nicely, it's purposeful, okay. This book just described so much, and it really was not necessary. there's so much language. Language doesn't even bother me like that. But this book was just ridiculous, like, when it came to the language. And I still have no clue. Because my thing is, the way y'all went about trying to stop the gentrification literally led y'all to letting kids go back to parents who were on drugs. And y'all were burning down the city. Like, I'm like, if you destroy the city and the people who move there to buy those places to put other businesses there, if you destroy the city and they don't rebuild, now how are y'all gonna make, like, it just didn't make sense. And so it's also, there is the relationship between the guy who moves back, who is a white guy, and his relationship with his best friend, who's a black guy, and his wife. That whole situation was a thing. And he's a part of the group trying, so it's not just like, it's not like a black against white thing. It's more of hometown versus transplants thing. So black and white on both sides trying to stop their city from changing. But don't buy it. This was a Dollar Tree buy, so I'm glad it only cost me $1.50. Like, don't even listen to it because it's not worth it. The next one, The Gardener's Plot by Deborah J. Bonneau. This is a mystery, and this is the kind of mystery I like because it has action. This is the cutest cover ever. If you remember, I think like a month or two ago, I did a review on Books by Murder. This gave me Book by Murder vibes because this is about a woman whose it's her grandmother passed away, small town. She moves back, inherits the house or whatever. She's in a small town. She's helping one of her newer friends that she's met when she moves back. This is another person that's there. Do this community garden. They go to the opening of the garden. Her friend, who is over the community garden, is nowhere to be found, and there is a body in the community garden. And so there was a scene that made me so sad. I'm like, oh no, I didn't want that to happen. But they're basically trying to figure out what's going on. So of course, small time vibes. You have the cop like, let us handle this, we got you. And then there's like an old relationship between what's her name, Maggie. There's an old relationship between Maggie and the current cop, and the current cop is married to the woman that doesn't like Maggie. So you got that like small time vibe. Language wise, nothing harsh. You might have like hail or something like that, but nothing harsh, no explicit get down scenes, nothing triggering at all in this one. And I'm gonna say I knew who did it. Then I was like, no, it couldn't have been them. Then I thought it was somebody else. And I was like, that person's acting kind of weird. But then I went back to my original. So it's one of those where you can kind of figure out who's gonna be the person. But I really, really enjoyed this. I read 80% of this book, and then I listened to like the last 20-ish% of this one. Good read and a good listen. This one Big Happy Family. This one's by Jamie Day. I was waiting on this novel. It came out last year because I read The Block Party by this author, and I absolutely love The Block Party. This was not The Block Party. This one was okay. It's about this town in Maine. This family is coming back to their family hotel because the father has died, and they're coming there for the reading of the will. There is a hurricane coming, and all of these secrets are revealed about these three sisters and their lives. Now, I will say there were so many gasping moments in this book, like, you nasty, and like so many just different like crimes being committed, like all kinds of things. This one had, I think, language. There are references to inappropriate behavior, but like between a boss and their employee, but nothing super detailed. There is mention of drug use in this one. And there is some abuse, but not detailed, like physical relationship abuse, but not detailed. So overall, I like this one, but when I compared it to how much I like the Block Party, it wasn't as good, but it did have twists and turns. It did have some good thrill in it. And overall, I did enjoy the book. It's just, but if you read The Block Party by this author, I thought The Block Party was better. The Block Party has a few more triggers though than this one does. This one is lighter than the first one. So I feel like if you don't like such intensity, this would be the one, because the other one kind of goes into more detail with inappropriate like situations between adults and I can't remember if it's young adults or teens. So that the other one is a little more, can be a little more triggering than this one. But overall good, but just comparing it to the first one, I enjoyed that other one better. We made it, y'all. So that is my wrap up for the month of April. If you have read any of these or you are interested in reading them, let me know which ones they are. Hopefully I did a good job of describing. I'm trying to give more detail about the content of the book as far as warnings. I know a lot of people like that. And not just tell like how good the book is or things like that. So I hope this was helpful. I tried to do it without spoiling anything. What did you guys read in the month of April? Super to hear about that. I can't wait till you guys check out my May book TBR, which is gonna surprise some of y'all. It's gonna surprise y'all, but I can't wait to share that with you guys. My name is Sarah Sho'Shanna. For those of you who are new, thank you so much. Join the family. And for those of you who keep coming back, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.